My name is Emily. I am 26 years old. Last year, I married David. When I first met David, he was like a dream. He was so sweet. He was very attentive. He always listened to me. He remembered small things I said, like my favorite flower or my favorite kind of coffee. It made me feel so special. He made me laugh a lot too. His smile was warm. It made my heart feel warm too. We met at a little coffee shop. I was reading a book. He asked me about the book. We started talking. We talked for hours that day. It felt so easy, like we knew each other for a long time. After that, we saw each other often. We went for walks in the park. We watched movies. We cooked dinner together. He always helped. He always asked about my day. I felt so happy. I thought, this is love. This is real love. He proposed to me one evening. It was by the lake. The sun was setting. It was beautiful. He got down on one knee. He had a small velvet box. He asked me to marry him. My eyes filled with tears. Happy tears. I said, yes, yes, of course, yes. I felt like the luckiest woman in the world. Our wedding was beautiful. It was a sunny day, in June. All our friends and family were there. I wore a white dress. I felt like a princess. When I walked down the aisle, I saw David waiting for me. He was smiling. His eyes were shining. I knew in that moment I was making the right choice. I was marrying my best friend, my soulmate. We said our vows. We promised to love each other. For better, for worse. Forever. The first few months of our marriage were wonderful. It felt like our happy courtship continued. We lived in a small apartment. It was cozy. We made it our home. We laughed every day. We talked about our future, about having children one day, about growing old together. Life felt perfect. I was so happy. I thought, this is it. This is my happy ever after. But then, slowly, things started to change. It was not sudden. It was like a slow fade, like a bright color losing its shine over time. At first, I didn't pay much attention. I thought, life gets busy. It's normal. But the change continued, and my heart started to feel a little bit heavy. David started working late more often. His job was demanding. I understood that. He worked for a big company. He wanted to do well. I supported him. But he started coming home very late, almost every night. I would make dinner. I would wait for him. The food would get cold. My hope for a nice evening together would also get cold. When he finally came home, he looked so tired. His shoulders were slumped. He would give me a quick kiss on the cheek. He would say, "Hi, Em." Then he would go to the sofa. He would turn on the TV, or he would look at his phone. I would say, "Dinner is ready, David." He would say, "Okay, in a minute." But that minute often turned into an hour. Sometimes I ate alone. The silence in the dining room felt loud. It felt empty. His empty chair was a constant reminder. He was here. But he was not really here with me. I tried to talk to him about it. One evening, I said, "David, you seem so tired all the time. Are you okay?" He just nodded. He said, "Yeah, just work. It's stressful." He didn't look at me. His eyes were on the TV screen. I wanted to say more. I wanted to say, "I miss you. I miss us." But the words got stuck in my throat. I felt a small knot forming in my stomach. That knot became a familiar feeling. The weekends started to change too. Weekends used to be our time. Our special time. We would go out. Or we would stay in and watch movies cuddled on the sofa. We would talk and laugh. Now, on weekends, David often slept late. He said he needed to catch up on sleep. I understood. But when he was awake, he was often on his laptop, working, or he was on his phone, scrolling, just scrolling. I would try to start a conversation. I would say, "David, what do you want to do today?" He would say, "I don't know, Em. I'm tired." Or, "Maybe we can just relax at home." Relaxing at home meant him on his phone, and me. Well, me feeling alone, even though he was right there in the same room. It's a strange kind of loneliness, isn't it? To feel alone when you are not actually by yourself. I felt like I was losing him. The sweet, attentive David I married. He was disappearing. And this new David, this quiet, distant David, he was a stranger to me. I didn't know how to reach him. I felt like there was a glass wall between us. I could see him, but I couldn't touch him. I couldn't connect with him. My birthday came a few months ago. I was hoping things would be different that day. Maybe he would remember the old David. Maybe we could have a special day. I woke up excited. I waited for him to say, "Happy birthday, Em." But he didn't. He got ready for work. He seemed rushed. He kissed me quickly. He said, "Have a good day." And then he left. My heart sank. Did he forget? My birthday? I felt so sad, so unimportant. I tried to tell myself, he's just busy, he's stressed, he'll remember later. But later never came. He came home late from work, like usual. He ate dinner while watching TV. He didn't say anything about my birthday. I couldn't hold it in anymore. Tears started to fall from my eyes. I tried to wipe them away quickly, but he saw. He looked at me surprised. "Em? What's wrong? Are you crying?" "It's my birthday, David," I whispered. My voice was shaky. "You forgot my birthday." His face changed. He looked shocked. Then he looked guilty. "Oh, Em, oh my God, I am so sorry. With work and everything. It slipped my mind. I am a terrible husband." He came over to me. He tried to hug me, but I felt stiff. I felt hurt. Deeply hurt. An apology felt too small for the big empty space I felt in my heart. That night, I lay in bed. David was asleep next to me. His breathing was even, but I was wide awake. The question was loud in my head, louder than ever before. Was marrying him a mistake? Did I make the wrong choice? It was a terrifying question. Because if the answer was yes, what did that mean for my life? For my future? I have a sister, Sarah. She lives in another city. We talk on the phone often. She knows me very well. She can always tell when something is wrong. Last week she called. She asked, "Emily, how are you? You sound a bit down." I wanted to tell her everything. I wanted to cry on the phone. To tell her how lonely I felt, how confused I was. But I couldn't. It felt too real to say it out loud. So I said, "Oh, I'm just a bit tired, Sarah. Work has been busy." Sarah was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Emily, is everything okay with you and David?" Her voice was gentle, kind. Yes, yes. Everything is fine," I lied. "He's just working a lot. You know how it is." "I know work can be stressful," Sarah said. "But don't forget to talk to each other, Emily, really talk. Sometimes when people are stressed, they shut down. They forget how to connect. Don't let that happen to you too." Her words stayed with me. Really talk. When was the last time David and I really talked? About our feelings? About our dreams? About us? I couldn't remember. It felt like a lifetime ago. I started looking at our wedding photos. They were in a beautiful white album. On every page, we were smiling, laughing, looking at each other with so much love in our eyes. Who were those two people? They looked so happy, so sure of their future together. What happened to them? What happened to us? Seeing those photos made my heart ache. It made the tears come again. I sometimes wondered if it was my fault. Did I change? Did I do something wrong? Was I not a good enough wife? These thoughts went around and around in my head. They made me feel anxious. They made me feel even more alone. I tried to be more cheerful. I tried to initiate conversations. I suggested we go out for dinner or for a walk, but David always seemed too tired, or too busy, or just not interested. The silence in our apartment became heavier each day. It was a silence filled with unspoken words, unasked questions, unshared feelings. I missed the sound of his laughter. I missed his voice talking to me, really talking to me. I missed his touch, the warmth of his hand holding mine. I remembered when we were dating. He wrote me little notes. He would leave them in my bag or on my desk. Sweet, silly notes. They always made me smile. Where did that David go? The David who paid attention to the small things. The David who made an effort. I felt like I was living with a ghost. The ghost of the man I married. The man I loved so deeply. This new David. I didn't know him. And I was scared that I would never get the old David back. I was scared that this was our new normal. This quiet, distant, lonely life. The thought of leaving him sometimes crossed my mind. It was a scary thought. A thought I tried to push away. But when the loneliness felt too heavy, the thought would whisper in my ear. Maybe you would be happier alone, Emily. Maybe this is not love anymore. But then I would remember our vows, our promises. for better, for worse. Was this the worse? Was I supposed to just accept it? To live like this? I knew I couldn't go on like this. This sadness, this loneliness, it was eating me from the inside. I felt like I was fading away too, just like the bright colors of our early marriage. I needed to do something. I needed to find out if our marriage could be saved, or if my fear was true, if marrying him really was a mistake. One evening, David came home from work. He looked tired, as usual. He sat on the sofa. He picked up his phone. I watched him for a few minutes. My heart was beating fast. I knew I had to say something. I couldn't live another day with this heavy silence. I took a deep breath. My hands were shaking a little. "David," I said. My voice was quiet, but I tried to make it strong. He looked up from his phone. He seemed a little surprised. "Yes, Em?" "David, we need to talk," I said. "Please, put your phone down. Turn off the TV. This is important." He looked at me, really looked at me. Maybe he saw the pain in my eyes. Maybe he saw the desperation. He slowly put his phone down on the coffee table. He picked up the remote and turned off the TV. The room was suddenly very quiet. But this time, it was a different kind of quiet. It was a quiet filled with tension, with anticipation. He turned to face me. "Okay, Emily. What is it? You look upset." "I am upset, David," I said. The words started to come out, all the words I had kept inside for so long. "I am more than upset. I am sad. I am lonely. I feel like I don't even know you anymore." He looked taken aback. "What are you talking about, Em? I'm right here." "Are you, David?" I asked, my voice trembling. "Are you really here? Or is it just your body? Because your mind, your heart, they seem so far away. You work all the time. When you are home, you are on your phone or watching TV. You don't talk to me. You don't look at me. You forgot my birthday. Do you even remember what my favorite flower is anymore?" He was silent. He looked down at his hands. He didn't answer. My question about the flower. That hurt. It was a small thing, but it felt big. Tears started to stream down my face. "I feel so alone, David. So incredibly alone in this marriage. We live together, but we are like two strangers. I miss you. I miss the man I married, the man who was sweet and attentive and made me laugh. Where did he go?" I paused, trying to catch my breath. My heart was pounding. I lie in bed at night, David, and I ask myself if I made a mistake, if marrying you was a mistake. There it was, the question, out in the open, between us. It felt terrifying to say it, but it also felt a little bit like a relief, to finally voice my deepest fear. David looked up at me. His face was pale. His eyes looked shocked and pained. He didn't say anything for a long moment. The silence stretched. I was so scared of what he would say. Would he get angry? Would he agree? Would he say he wanted to leave too? Then he spoke. His voice was low, shaky. "A mistake," he whispered. "Emily, you think marrying me was a mistake?" He looked like I had hit him. I had no idea you felt this way. So strongly. So unhappy. "How could you not know, David?" I cried. "I've been trying to reach you, but you've been so distant, so closed off." He ran his hands through his hair. He looked distressed. I am so sorry. I truly am. I've been a terrible husband. I know I have. Work has been overwhelming. More than overwhelming. I felt like I was drowning. I felt like I was failing. And I guess I brought that home with me. I shut down. I didn't want to burden you with my problems. I thought I was protecting you. "Protecting me?" I said, disbelief in my voice. "David, by shutting me out, you weren't protecting me. You were hurting me. You were pushing me away. We are supposed to be a team. We are supposed to face things together, not alone." He nodded slowly. Tears welled up in his own eyes. "You're right, Em. You're absolutely right. I was wrong. So wrong. I was so focused on my own stress, my own fears, that I forgot about us. I forgot about you. I took you for granted. And hearing you say you think our marriage was a mistake. That breaks my heart. Because marrying you was the best thing I ever did. It was never a mistake for me. I love you. I know I haven't shown it. God, I know I haven't. But I do. I love you so much." His words, his tears, his confession. It was a lot to take in. He sounded sincere. He sounded like the David I remembered, the David I had missed so much. "I don't want to lose you, Emily," he continued, his voice thick with emotion. He reached out and took my hands. His hands were trembling too. "I don't want this to be the end of us. Please. Tell me what I can do. Tell me how I can fix this. I will do anything. I promise. I will change. I will be better." We sat there, on our sofa, holding hands. We talked for hours that night. We both cried. We both shared our fears, our frustrations, our disappointments. He told me about the pressure at his job, how he felt inadequate, how he was scared of failing, things he had never told me before. And I told him how his distance made me feel, how his silence was like a wall between us. It was the hardest conversation we ever had, but it was also the most honest. And somewhere in all the pain and all the tears, a tiny spark of hope began to flicker. A hope that maybe, just maybe, we could find our way back to each other. "I want to try, David," I said, my voice soft but firm. "I want to try to fix this. But it can't be just me trying. We both have to work on it, every single day." "I will, Em," he promised. His eyes were full of determination. "I will. No more hiding. No more shutting you out. We'll talk. We'll really talk. We'll be a team again." That night was the beginning of a long journey. It wasn't a magic fix. Our problems didn't disappear overnight, but something changed. The heavy silence was broken. We started to communicate again. Really communicate. David started making an effort, a real effort. He started coming home earlier from work. He put his phone away when we were together. He asked me about my day, and he listened. He really listened. He even remembered my favorite flower, lilies. He brought me a small bouquet one evening. It was a small gesture, but it meant the world to me. It showed me he was trying. He was remembering. We decided to go to marriage counseling, to learn better ways to talk to each other, to understand each other's needs. It was helpful. It was hard sometimes, but it was good for us. We learned that it's okay to have problems, but it's not okay to ignore them. Slowly, things started to improve. The laughter came back into our home. The warmth, the connection. We started going for walks. Again, we started having date nights. Simple things, but they made a big difference. We were rebuilding our marriage, brick by brick, conversation by conversation. So, was marrying David a mistake? Today, I can say no. It wasn't a mistake. The mistake was allowing the distance to grow between us. The mistake was not talking, not sharing our fears and our struggles. The mistake was letting our busy lives pull us apart instead of holding on tighter to each other. Our story is not perfect. Our marriage is not perfect, but it's real, and it's ours, and we are working on it together. And that, I've learned, is what truly matters. If you are listening to this, and maybe you feel a little bit like I did, maybe you feel lonely in your relationship, maybe you have doubts, please don't suffer in silence. It's okay to feel scared. It's okay to feel confused. But you need to talk. Talk to your partner. Share your feelings. It might be the hardest conversation you ever have, but it could also be the conversation that saves your love or gives you the clarity you need to move forward. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be heard. Don't give up on that. Thank you for listening to my story. Keep your heart open. And please, always try to talk.